Hey, what's up? I'm Courtney, and I'm in studio with The Hollywood Reporter.
You're here to talk about Storm Boy.
That's right.
Congrats on the movie.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by. Now, I have to ask, as an actor, did you ever think you would be playing Jeffrey Rush's father?
No, I didn't.
No?
It wasn't quite on the list, but somehow it managed to work out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Through the magic of cinema.
Now, for those who haven't seen the film, what would be your quick pitch for what the movie is about?
The film is about a young boy who lives on a remote peninsula with his father, and he he rescues 3 orphan pelican chicks that are, their mother's shot down by poachers, and the boy rescues the chicks, and I guess having that introduction to their lives shifts, their perspective on the world and kind of brings a whole lot of joy and positivity into what is somewhat of a kind of grieving atmosphere. This is a famous novella that we all kind of grew up on, and maybe we'll touch on that.
You were familiar with it.
Super familiar with it, yeah. And so, I mean, when I was asked to come aboard, being invited to be a part of a Storm Boy remake was, I was already kind of in. It was like, it's a beloved story and a really iconic piece of Australian literature. And there was a film made in the 70s, which this is more of an adaptation of the book than a remake of the movie. But it's just these characters in this world, and it's something that's stuck with me through my childhood, and the imagery, the land. It's just a really it's a beautiful tale. Look, the beauty of this reimagining, if you will, is that they've woven in a contemporary thread, which is how we get away with Jeffrey playing my son. And so that's actually not in the book. That's something that's an invention.
The timeline.
Yeah. And so that was something that, like, looking at the new script, I was curious about, not skeptical, but kind of like, okay, like, how's this going to work? And it was just done really wonderfully. They handled it really beautifully. And I hadn't played a father before, not in this capacity. And I just, I was attracted to the challenge of taking that on. It's a very different project for me, tonally, I think, than some of the stuff I'm usually playing in. And he's kind of like, this is a man, we're talking the 50s, this is a man who's kind of emotionally more locked up than, perhaps someone might be in this day and age. And the brand of love that he has for his son is kind of different as well. It's kind of tough. The world's kind of a harsh, cold place at times for them. And so, yeah, I just, I wanted to take that on. I wanted to investigate that relationship and try and find a way to, deliver a sort of compelling performance through it.
And you do.
Thanks, man.
Now, growing up when first hearing the story, did you ever think, I would be starring in this story on screen?
No. Maybe he's one of the pelicans. I don't know.
In the way they show Tom's devotion to his son, and they show it through the son's new devotion for the pelicans, can you kind of talk about that and the dynamic of the two relationships, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, the dynamic of the relationship between Hideaway and Michael is it's pretty fractured. And it's a tough one to explore sometimes because I think, I realized, like, going back to my interpretation of the story as a kid, I was looking at it through the lens of a child as well. And it's interesting, like, working with Finn, who plays Michael. He had some ideas about their relationship that I was kind of like, through a more adult lens, I sort of disagreed with. Because I'm like, well, just about how, he kind of, it's easy to, like, summarize things and be like, well, he's kind of mean to his kid, or, and I don't know, things like that. I think coming from it from a more mature perspective, you kind of go like, man, it's not the case. Like, there's love there. There's absolute love and devotion there. He just doesn't necessarily know how to, express that. And there's a much more sort of pure, raw quality to the love that that Storm Boy has for these birds. And when they come into his life, he can't understand why it's not right that he can raise them. Like, why does he have to, let them out of captivity and give them back to, their natural environment, because of his connection that he feels to them. And so, yeah, it's kind of like breaking that stuff down and unpacking it really affects their relationship in a positive way. Ultimately, it kind of hurts them as well, but it's interesting.
Yeah, Michael has such devotion to these pelicans. Growing up, did you have any pets that you were...
I had pets, yeah.
What were they?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of dogs. They're not with us anymore. I actually had rabbits as a real youngster. My sister and I couldn't wait to get
with a bunch of rabbits.
Couldn't wait to get a bunch of rabbits. We got 2 rabbits when we were like 7, probably thinking like the rabbits will be around. Those things lived 11 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My dog ended up killing my rabbit.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened there?
He just got through the pool gate and smudged.
Damn.
Yeah.
Along with you, Finn, and Jeffrey, the Pelicans steal the show. Can you kind of talk about filming with the Pelicans, because they're all real?
They are real.
You said they flew away at some point.
We did. We did have one day. There was a pelican went AWOL for a minute, but found its way back. Look, it's pretty crazy, man. I got to say, I've only worked with animals in film in the capacity of doing some horse riding, which is, well, it has its difficulties as well, but pretty simple. But pelicans, I mean, look, they're not dogs. It's not as easy to kind of manage. But we had an amazing team of handlers who worked with them. Actually, they reared them from chicks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that worked exactly with production, but I know that the birds were going to be the birds in the movie when they were born. Essentially,
oh my gosh,
they were hatched. Yeah. So pretty amazing, and it took the work they had to put in over those months to kind of get them up to that place. And I know Finn had to do a lot of work with them in kind of building trust and familiarity, so that on the day, I mean, we didn't have fish in our pocket to kind of motivate the bird, but that's kind of what it takes. And so sometimes, and I mean, it's pretty crazy because we're shooting in an environment where there's literally a wild flock of pelicans over there on the water, and we got these 3 guys kind of cruising around, hoping that they'll kind of hit their mark and say their lines or whatever. You know what I mean? So it was interesting at times for sure, but they're quite majestic and
they're so talented.
Yeah, they are. They're huge, man. I mean, it's pretty amazing to be in their presence and kind of share that space with them.
That's so great. Now, this is Finn's first feature film. He's so talented. Being that young, do you remember being that young? And when did you, first realize you wanted to be an actor?
It was I mean, look, Finn's, that goes without saying. He's phenomenal young talent, and we'll see a lot more from him, no doubt. As far as he was about 11 at the time of filming, and I had started to develop a love for this work in a way, but it was never in a professional capacity. I grew up through the theatre and did a lot of that through school and stuff, and wasn't really till I trained, properly, through a classical institution, after high school, that I really wrapped my head around wanting to do it as a career. For me, it was just I don't know, it was a vocation to stay busy and play dress-ups and show off. That's kind of how it all worked in my mind. And in a way, it's still how I approach it, It's just play. Yeah. I love that about it. So, look, I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's wild working with someone as young as that who already has a lot of, drive and ambition. And he loves doing this. When we wrapped the movie, he was just depressed about having to go back to school. Oh, really? And it was kind of funny because, it's just an endearing thing. You're like, yeah, man, well, shit happens. That's life. But you'd be right. Hang in there. It's kind of good. I want to. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I'm really proud of him and so fortunate to be able to have such a wonderful professional young scene partner through the journey of this movie.
Now, as an actor, are there more roles like this that you're looking at now? Is this kind of...
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look, I always just want to shake it up a bit. It's always been the case. It's probably because my attention span is so limited. But, I would love to get into a bit of this stuff. It kind of tends to happen, I think, particularly with men, you start to get into your 30s and... it feels like there's probably more to put on the page. I think roles tend to get a little better and a little juicier. So looking forward to inviting a bit more of that in,
Now, before you go, I have to ask, Idris Elba has signed on to join the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I am. I probably wouldn't have said it. I said it the other day in an interview, and I felt like I let the cat out of the bag, but I haven't been sworn to secrecy about that, so... Yeah, I guess it's okay to say that I will be.
Well, it's great.
As far as I know, anyway. I mean, unless I'm going to get a call between now and then, and they'll be like, "You blew it, dog." They're like, "You're out."
James Gunn is directing it. Have you talked to him at all? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've
What are those conversations look like?
just like, how's it going? Bit of ice breaking. You ain't getting out of me, man. Well, let me tell you what it's all about. Just getting back with the gang and mixing it up. You know, I loved playing Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
It's like a total,
So good.
you know, just like raucous nightmare. And just looking forward to reprising that and getting the gold tooth back in and getting after it.
Maybe we can see some pelicans in the sequel too.
Maybe.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I'll pitch that.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, man.
Make sure to check out Storm Boy now in select theaters.